All right, so our last stop here was we were trying to um, figure out the salaries for the year, and we were figuring out the salaries all time. And that's because, quite simply, we weren't differentiating between the year and the team. So how do we do that in a map? Well, we need to look up not just off of the team, but we also need to look up off of the year. And there's two ways we could do that. One of them is we could find some key that looks at both year and the the team. And so we kind of have this flat hierarchy of a big list of every team and year, and we look at all teams and years and do that. The other thing we can do, and what I'm going to do here, is we're going to make a hierarchical map. So for the team ID, instead of having a single team, I'm actually going to have a map of teams by the year. So you can see here I have a map of teams, which gives me a map of years and teams, right? Um, and so I have a tree map that holds all of them. Now, this makes my life a little bit more complicated in putting the data into it, but it will make it very simple to get the data out of it later on. So for example, when I go inside of here, when I will get the team data, I actually get the team by the team ID. And then from that map, I'm going to say get based off of the year. So again, at the end, it's real simple. Team ID, year, boom, I've got that specific team. Um, Again, it makes my life a little bit more complicated up here. So if the year's over 1985, I can't just simply put it in anymore because now I'm putting it into a structure. And so I need to put this into a new map instead of the individual map, a single map here. And so really, the first thing I need to do is say, every time I have a team, have I added a version of that team already before? So I want to say, well, I want a map that I'm going to get out of integer and team info. Um, that's all, which is all the teams, and that's going to be equal to, well, the team data dot get for that team ID tokens two, which I'm just making it a little bit clearer. String team ID is equal to tokens of two. So that way we don't have to run tokens of two all over the place. I can now say, well, this is the team ID, right? So I'm going to get the team from the team data. I'm going to get the team ID out of that, and it's going to return back to me a map. But oops, not what did I do wrong? Oh, sorry, capital D, team ID. Yep. So the first time I encounter the team, though, this might be null because if I haven't saw the team yet, I haven't created that yet. So if all teams is equal to null, well, then I need to create a new map for all teams here. So all teams is equal to a new, um, we'll do a tree map here. So it'll order it by year. And then we need to take the new one I just created and say team data dot put based off of the team ID, put in the new map I just created. And so this right here is a very common pattern in maps. Oops, again, let me just change it here because that's apparently that's how I want to type it. Um, and so what we do is we have a map of a list of items, a set of items, a map of a map of items. And so when I add it into there, the first time I add a new thing to that list or set or map, I have to create that list or set or map. And so I get it, see if it's null. If it is, I create that new list or setter map and add that inside of there. And then I'm not actually adding to team data here. I'm going to add to all teams. I'm going to put not tokens of two, but team.getYear at this point. Make sense? Hopefully. So since I've done this a whole bunch of times, the code kind of flows out somewhat smooth. It wasn't perfect inside of there. The great thing about Eclipse is it tells me when I'm putting compiler errors right away, as opposed to Python, where I have to run it before I see that. Um, but let's see what happens here. Okay, so uh, it's not printing anything here. I'm not getting. Did I stop printing? Oh, I bet you it's printed such a huge map, but it's not showing everything here. Again, because it is a massive map of team data here. So let's do team data dot get CHC. I think that's the Cubs one. Let's see if that works. No, 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 no. That's not CHC. Let me go back to the team franchises, and you might be a White Sox fan. I apologize if no, it is a CHC. Um, so I'm not entirely sure what I did here. Uh, that should be the team. Um, I tell you what. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go to the debugger. You may or may not have seen the debugger in action, so this is a good chance to do this. I'm going to run it in the debugger, so I'm going to hit debug instead of the other one. Um, and when it'll stop here, and then I can take a look at the team data by hand. Oh yeah, you can see there's definitely data going on inside of here. So there's my Anaheim, Arizona, Baltimore, Boston, CHA, CHN. Oh, CHN. CHN is the CH National League right there. It's a team. Okay, yeah, because it's not the franchise. CHC is the franchise. It's the team, CHN. But in 1985, you can see the Chicago Cubs had 77 wins and 84 losses, and their attendance was 2.1 million, and their team salary was $12 million. All right. So definitely that looks better. $12 million seems like a more reasonable salary in the 80s. And we can look at it year by year. And so we can scroll all the way to the side. And so in 2020, the attendance was zero, the salary was zero. Well, that actually makes sense because the data only goes through 2019 for that. But in 2019, oh, the salary is also zero. Maybe they don't have salary data for then. Or something I did wrong. Oh, no, there's a lot of zeros inside of there. Uh, so there's something I did wrong inside of there. So I'm not sure what I did wrong. I'll have to investigate that. Um, and I'll tell you, I haven't done something wrong on purpose. So I got to figure out what's going on. So let's go ahead and stop this. Um, and by the way, when I hit debug, it took me to a new perspective. It added these other windows to help me see that data. But I'm going to hit this other perspective up here and take me back to this one overall. So let me do CHN here, and then I can see this without having to, um, 1985, 1985, 1985. Yes, so that's good. Um, so I'm definitely creating a map that has all the different years, but I'm definitely, oh, no, I do have the salaries in here. So for whatever reason, it wasn't showing it to me. Well, it has it through there. Attendance and salary. No, yeah, it does seem to be updating the salaries here. So for whatever reason in the debugger, it wasn't showing me salaries, but in here, 2019 definitely has salaries. You could look this up individually, but it looks like the Cubs spent, oh, the attendance was three. Oh, I'm sorry, salary is zero. Salary zero. Salary zero. Well, let's just check. Um, yeah, no, oh, 16. 2016 is the last year they have salary data. Right? So my assumption was there should be salary data. It said the data went through 2019, but I should double check my actual data here. So let's just go back to 2016 and see if there is salary data. Yes, so 2016 does have salary data, but 17, 18, 19 wouldn't. So um, we'll definitely have to exclude that from our calculations, but otherwise, we seem to have loaded in all the data and it looks good. And I forgot about that, which is an advantage of doing this video a month after I built the exercise because I get to take it a little bit fresh as well, even though I've already built it once. All right, so now it seems though we have all of our data ready and we can start answering questions with it. So we've spent probably close to 45 minutes to an hour now, and we're just actually getting started on this problem. But that's actually not bad as far as programming goes. And now we have the data we need to set up. So let's talk about in the next video how we were going to actually answer the questions we're being asked, and we'll maybe pull together some of this data and talk about that strategy.